ISKCON Planetarium, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vasudeva Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya. Astotra Satatsi Siddhanta Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasa Thakur Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vasudeva ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Gaura ki Jai. Prem se kahao Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Sari Sri Gaura Bhakti Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Syamakunda Radha Kunda Ke Jai. Sri Vrindavan Madhava Dham Ke Jai. Sri Mayapanava Dham Ke Jai. Sri Jagannath Dham Ke Jai. Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ke Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ke Jai. Swami Devi Bhakti Devi Ke Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the sum of devotees, all glories to the sum of devotees, all glories to the sum of devotees, all glories to Sister Gaur and Radha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So, what verse is this? Time to teach us about Bhagavad Gita. What?
What is it?
Time to teach us about Bharata. What verse? The Pandits.
My phone is going.
Tell me. Pandit. Okay, so let me check the verse.
Oh no.
114.
214.
214. Okay. Bhagavad Gita 214. It's a very popular verse. Isn't it? Popular. Simple too, is it? So Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter Chapter 2, text 14. Title of this chapter is Contents of the Gita Summarized.
It's not 214. Yeah, 214. It's
214.
Mark's question to Kanteya. Shishosha Sukha Dukha Agama Payo Nitya Sound is the yeah.
214. Yeah. Okay, so let's take the verse. So Bhagavad Gita 2:14. Matas tasas kontiya situsna sukadukda agama payino nityas tams diksasva bharata matras pasastu konteya situsna sukadukda agama payino nityas tam titiksa swabhavata mantras pasastu konteya situsna sukadukada payino nityas tam titiksa swabhavata Can someone try?
Matrispasha tu Kanteya Sitosna Sukha Dukkada Agama Payino Nityas Tam Titikshva Bharataha
Ladies, anyone?
Matra sparshastu kaunteya Shitoshna sukha dukkada Agama payino nityas Samstitikshasva bharata
Anyone else? Try.
Marta Sparsha Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Payino Nitya Titikshvasva Bharata.
Anyone else? Okay, word translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, His Confirmed Charles, Srila A.C. Bhakti, Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, thank you. Matras Pasaha, sensory perception. Two only. Anteya. O son of Kunti, Sita, winter, Krishna, sun, Sukha, happiness, Dukkha, and pain, Daha, giving, Agama, appearing, Apayinaha, disappearing, Nityaha, non-permanent, Tan, all of them, Saswa, just try to follow it. Bharata was descendant of Bharat dynasty. Vasudeva Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness, and distress, and your disappearance in due course, like the appearance, disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Please kindly respond, repeat. O son of Kunti,
O son of Kunti,
the non-permanent appearance
the non-permanent appearance
of happiness and distress,
of happiness and distress,
and the disappearance in due course,
and the disappearance in due course,
are like the appearance
are like the appearance
and disappearance
and disappearance
of winter and summer seasons.
of winter and summer seasons.
They arise from sense perception.
They arise from sense perception.
Oceana Bharata.
Oceana Bharata.
One must learn to tolerate them
And one must learn to tolerate them
without being disturbed.
without being disturbed.
Without being disturbed.
Without being disturbed.
Okay. Let's listen to Prabhupada's purport. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. And according to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning and even during the month of Magha, January, February. It is very cold at that time. But in spite of that, a man who abides by religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the churches. And although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya, illusion. The two different names of address given to Arjuna are also significant. To address him as Kuntiya signifies his great blood relations from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have a great heritage. A great heritage brings responsibility in the matter of proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting. Mama Gena Timirandasya, Gena Gena Sarakaya, Satsur Nalitam Yen Tasman, Sigurave Maha. Sajayataya Manovistam, Sampi Tam Ina Putale, Swayam Rupa Kadanaya, Tadatistam Padantika. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Sahovato, Guladhaya, Kaspavanto, Chitachantamaya. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Sadhguru Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Anchakapatari Jaya, Kripasanadya, Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurava So, in this Bhagavad Gita text, 2:14, Krishna is giving us some insight how the dualities of this material world bring some climatic changes, the duality of material. They facilitate climatic changes. It's time that the weather is hot, times that the weather is freezingly cold. But honestly speaking, see when it's so cold, one could wonder, why do I need to go to work? Let me just sleep in the house. It's just so cold outside here. I remember when I was younger brahmachari in Toronto Temple in New Jersey. So during the winter, that part of the state was so much heavy with snow. So I came out in the morning with the anticipation of going out. There's no way you're gonna go out. Snow, I mean, heavy inches of snow blocked everywhere. And the devotees, they have not also cleared the way. So one would say, well, snow is there. Why should I go to preach? We may have some challenge. I will find this in example, the life of Prabhupada. He was so sick. He was even being carried with palanquin. But he was translating. He was translating his books. He was giving purpose. He was serving in a nutshell. So devotional service cannot be impeded by external forces. I remember also when I was still in Nigeria, a young man joined the temple, and I was the president in Lagos. So one time, my Guru Maharaj came back to Swami. He came and during the Mangala, after the Mangalati was in the hall, this was the food of devotees in the Mangalati people. Outside of rehearsals, also full of the temple floor. So one early morning, he looked around, and you can see one Sankirtan devotee. His name is Srimad Bhagavatam Das. So turned around and said, where is this person? And then some devotee said, he didn't come to Mangalati because he's having some fever. Today, if you tell that to somebody, they will say, yes, so insensitive, yes, so inhuman. You know what he said? He said, bring him here. He's better to come and die before the deities. Oh yeah, so we see the life of the acharyas, and when Prabhupada, when he was on his deathbed, he was still sad. I remember when I was so much sick of liver problem. So in New York, one of my mentees at that time was doing his PhD, and so he came to see me, and I was preparing to present at a conference. So I was writing, and then he said, Maharaj, you will die soon, and you don't give up this. He was so angry with me. Why don't you just rest? So I said, it's better to die, serving. And he was taken aback, he was shocked. So, the point here Krishna is mentioning is not something abstract. It is something applicable in our own lives. That we don't allow external forces to stop us from serving. We don't allow someone, I was in Germany, and then this devotee who was translating my classes, she came to introduce her brother to me, and I said, oh, you stopped coming to temple because of such and such. And then, that guy and his sister, they said, how did you know? This is exactly why I stopped coming to the temple. Nobody's action should make us have a decision that we're no longer going to come to the temple. The temple belongs to CC rather not to Bar. It's not belonging to the temple commander. It's not belonging to the chief cook. It doesn't even belong to the temple management. So if I hurt you, don't say, well, Vasudeva is there. I don't want to see him. I don't want to go to the temple. Because these simple things, we human beings, and our interactions are also very liable to conflicts. And the point is that Krishna is not only using these weather conditions to give the imperative for tolerance, but what if you're our own children? Or your spouse? Let's bring it back home to the family. What if your spouse or your child? A child is about to say some nonsense, to do some nonsense. Are you applying this very principle of time to teach Bharata in your life? In other words, being proactive when your child hurts you or when your spouse says something silly. In most cases, no. We think it's all right. My child, I have to straighten him up. But there are different approaches to it. The time to teach Bharata doesn't mean that you don't have to rectify your child. But it also calls for pro-action when someone conducts themselves in a way we don't like. I tell the story of an 8-year-old girl in Laguna Beach. So I was in Laguna Beach some 2 years back. I was in California. I was San Diego because I was invited to come to Laguna Beach for their Sunday program. So after the class, a gentleman came to me and he started telling me what he did to his 8-year-old daughter. 8 years old. He came back from work one day and started raining abuses on this girl. The girl was very un-American. Un-American in the sense that a typical American child, you do that to them, they know it's an abuse. They will call the police right away. And you're going to jail. You are beating someone, vitupeраting somebody for no justification. The girl kept quiet. That is example of time to teach the Bharata. Tolerate. So next time when your father just dies, you remember this story. You be quiet. When his temper comes down, then you can approach him. Listen to what the girl did. Some days have passed. When we are eating, girl and father, daughter and father, happily, the girl raised the issue. Papa, the other day you came back from work and you did this to me, you read all the abuses and insults of me. Did you have a fight with anybody in the office that day? 8 years old. 8 years old. She was offended. She was hurt by the father. It's not that you're the child. You don't have emotions or feelings that someone, your parent, is not going to hurt you. How you respond to it is a different story. So it goes both ways. Parents and children. The principle of time to teach the Bharata also comes to bear. If you are a guru, you are a senior devotee. I'll give you an example. A typical example of Rupa Goswami. Mirabai. Most of you have heard about Mirabai. It's a celebrity. Mirabai went to Vrindavan when the Goswamis went to Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami was there. And he sent a message, he wanted to have darshan of Rupa Goswami. In India, especially those days, over 500 years ago, Swamis, they were very, very strict with women. So Rupa said, I don't give darshan to women. So Mira said, responded that, oh, I thought Krishna is the only Purusa and we are all Prakriti. Have you become a Purusa now? Now, can you imagine? Suppose the GBC of this soon. A lady goes to correct him that you said this is not correct. How would you respond? Oh, not even the GBC, the temple banquet, temple president. A lady goes to them and says, hey, what you said yesterday, you're wrong. People are afraid to even say, to air their views, not to talk of correcting somebody. Why people are afraid to air their views, to speak out? Because psychological safety is practically nil in most of the communities. Psychological safety means you can say something without being afraid of revenge from the person that is concerned. So, what was the response of Rupa Goswami when Mirabai made this type of challenging statement? That's a challenging statement. Oh yeah. This is Acharya. And the woman says, I hear you. I thought we are all Prakriti and Krishna is the only enjoyer. Have you become a Purusa? But Rupa Goswami did not take any offense. Down to teach us for Bharata. It was brought to play. He reflected. And he said, yes, you're right. Come on, have your darshan. Oh, yeah. This is not Purana, just over 500 years ago. So, this text is not just for us to tolerate the urges of the pulls and the pushes of our sensory modalities and senses and the emotions. Just tolerate the negative emotions. But it also applies to our interactions, especially the family, because the family is a microcosm of the society of the nation. And so this girl, Laguna Beach girl, when he raised up the issue with the father after some days apart, the father has calmed down, her temper has also calmed down. The father response was, yes, I had a lot of fight in the office that day. So when he told me that, I said, stop there. Go and bring your daughter. Call her. So the daughter came, and I begged her on behalf of the father, on behalf of the father. And I told him, this girl is not an ordinary soul. Give these senses to her for forgiveness. Because what you did to her, you could have gone to jail. If she exhibited a typical American child style or child status. But here, an 8-year-old girl was demonstrating the value of tolerance when you get hurt, even by the person you love most. If someone just hurts you by the sideway, it's easy to tolerate. Easy to just walk away. But with the person who is closest to you, your beloved hurts you, what is our response? So 2 ways to respond to situations. We can be reactive or proactive. So the girl, the 8 years old girl, who responded to the father in very loving and amicable, responsible way, that is proactive response. A situation, we must face some situations, but how we respond to that situation is what determines our level of spiritual awareness. We may say, well, 8 years old girl, what do they know? Because if sometimes we say like that, we have been there, we were born before some people, and maybe we attain some position, Swami or Guru or whatever, and then we think, I'm better than anyone else. I know better. I remember when we were having a Bhakti program in 2009 in Michael. There was some Swami who took us one course, and this Guru Kuli boy, Caucasian, white boy, he asked some question, and what was the response of the teacher? He said, "You're just a small boy, what do you know?" So we also have the tendency of condemning people or minimizing people because we are the parents. I am the breadwinner. Whatever I do is right. Just shut up, and then, my way or the highway. Oh yeah. It's so easy, especially when we're intoxicated because of power. There are different things that give us power. Money also can give us power. Being the breadwinner of the home can also create some impulsiveness. I remember, one of my mentees was trying to get married, and he's a PhD, and the lady she was trying to get married to is doctor. And then in the pre-marriage discussions, we were discussing their objective criteria in marriage. And then the lady said that her Guru Maharaj said, when she's married, she will don't have to work because we're following the Vedic system. So this guy, he said, okay, the Guru Maharaj said that he will not work. I'm afraid that I'm going to move ahead with these marriage proposals. Because, see, he's a scientist, so he knows the psychology of power. He said, yes, I don't lack money to maintain a wife. I have a PhD, I don't lack money to maintain a wife, but the tendency for the conditioned soul is that they become imbued with impulsivity because they think that they are the controllers, they are the maintainers. But actually Vishnu is the one maintaining everyone. He said he doesn't want to commit offenses because if the wife is not working, he said, one day it will enter his head and he will start acting out. And sometimes people act out because they think, I'm the one providing for you. If I'm providing for you, you just have to obey me. Yeah, so we found difficulty in being able to air our views, but we need to be able to involve everyone in our communities in some type of decision making. Especially the family. Family should be based on participative leadership. Participative leadership means decisions are made in the family, and if we don't want some type of reactions from other members of the family that could lead to even offenses, or people will offensively react to some decisions that we make, better to make the decisions people-oriented or family-oriented. Just conserve everybody in the family before making the decision. Because to avoid the situation where we fail the test, we fail the litmus test of time to take sexual apparatus. Because somebody will say something and we get ourselves in. So it's pretty easy. And therefore we have to understand that the statements of the Bhagavad Gita, they are applicable in our own lives too. For community transformation, for family transformation. Because especially if we can tolerate our senses and the negative impulse of the mind. But what about our child does something? Do we tolerate? Each time we fail the test and we think the child should be spanked. But if we don't have in mind that yes, I'm also faced with examination every day in the home. My child is going to test me. My spouse is going to test me. Or my father is going to test me. My mother is going to test me. They will say something that I don't like. How do I respond? Time to teach the Swami. So, the implications of these teachings are broad-based. It could be individual, team, a family, a community, and even global. These days, people are not imbibing the culture of time to teach the Prabhupada. Then we have all these wars that have erupted all over the planet. The president of one country goes to say some silly things against another president of another country, and then there is hard exchanges of words. And then they declare war against each other. But they're not going to go to the battlefield to fight. Oh yeah. So, human beings are distant from other primates because humans are held responsible. We have that responsibility to be able to tame our senses and our mind. In fact, the whole problem that is going on in the world, every problem you can think of is because people are not being able to tolerate the urges of their senses, the mind. Irritation, we get irritated and immediately we react. So here Lord Krishna is saying, this needs to be practiced, taking cue from the 8 years old girl. We should think, an 8 years old girl able to be proactive to that degree. Why not I? Oh yeah? 8 years old girl was hotly offended. But she was proactive. In other words, she thought, what can I do to help my father in this case? It must have had a lot of fights in the office. And now I'm become the ground bearer. You know, when you carry all of your trauma and then you come back home and hit it on your wife or hit it on your spouse or your child, it's called passing the buck. That is why I remember some years ago, there was one of my mentees who was married to a psychiatrist. And the both husband and wife, they hardly could meet even in the house because they have different work schedules. One person is a scientist, another one is working in a psychiatric clinic. You know, because I was close to the family, you know what the wife will normally do? She will call me up so frequently to tell me all of the details, what has been going on between herself and other psychiatric doctors, herself and patients and all this. And you know why Rupa says we should have confidence. You know why he said we should have confidence? Because sharing deflates the trauma that comes with any effect. See, gross example, you take a sheet of paper, a quarter-size paper, and share it into two, and give half to your friend who wants paper to write and address to give to someone. You no longer have a full sheet of paper. You have half sheet of paper because you share it with a friend. Similarly, if we experience some trauma because of some perceived abuse or perceived inordinate attitudes from somebody we love, if we share that experience with our loved one, with a confidant, the trauma that comes with that scenario is diffused almost to half. That is the psychology of sharing. And so people, that lady, the doctor, she was calling me frequently to tell me what was going on. Because she understands this psychology of sharing. That otherwise, it bottles up, and one day she come back home, she meets the husband, and little thing, like you pressure the gas in the bottle, and then no full stop. Yeah, so we need to understand that even in the families, for us to be able to enable attempt to teach Swabharata conceptualization in the family, we have to encourage the idea that people have some feelings of heart and be able to speak out without fearing revenge. Whether it's in our communities, in our families, in our team works. And so this very text, I love this last part, line there, because it just, you can relate it to any situation. Whether in the family, anywhere, workplace, school, relationship between teacher and the student. So we should think that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, and at the same time we should also act in that wise by taking cues from this, from the example of this 8 years old girl who felt, emotionally brutalized by the father. Then she was not reactive. She tolerated. But then she addressed the situation later in a loving kindness. Any comments or questions? Can we go back 2 more minutes or 2 or not minutes? The artist took 12:30, right? Is it? Huh?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for an amazing class and conference. So, what are the advantages of being tolerant?
What are the advantages of being tolerant? It's just the girl, 8 years old girl and the father, just a very typical example. Mutual coexistence. It enhances loving relationships. Because if we tolerate say your child does something silly, and instead of just spanking the child, first you tolerate your own urge of anger, your temperament. It flares up. Maybe you want to shout, or you want to spank the child, or if it's your spouse, you want to punch her in the face. People do this. Unfortunately, people do. The advantage that if people see you, if your team members or your family members see you, your friends see you, that you're tolerant, they will trust you. Because someone who is overwhelmed by emotions cannot be trusted. It's difficult to trust somebody if he or she cannot control their emotions. You cannot be sure what is going to happen in the next minute. So it facilitates the building of consolidated other relationships. It's an art. It's an art worth practicing. Yes. Any other last comment or question? Yes.
So, you spoke about the psychology behind speaking and sharing trauma. Can you speak a little bit about the science behind speaking and sharing happiness? Versus, you said we give half of our trauma away. So what happens if we share with the happy?
Happiness is amplified. You see, I mean, it's like the example is given. If someone has a lot of, for instance, say he has a very sophisticated course building. He will still be miserable if he does not have people around. He will not enjoy it. So in other words, if you didn't have money, you want someone to enjoy with you because then you have a sense of belonging. Then you feel that sense of belonging is amplified when people you love are by you. Because we cannot be isolated. And so, if we're happy and we share that happiness with someone we love, someone we trust, the happiness is amplified. Okay, I think we have to stop there. In case there are some other questions, maybe some other time, because it's time for asking. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Hare Krishna devotees, we will have a standing Aarti and Kirtan now. You can keep the mats in the back and come forward.